Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 561 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Welcome if you're new to the podcast, and welcome back if you've been hanging out with me for a while. I'm super glad we get to hang out a couple times a week. It's awesome. Now, I'm not certain all of you noticed, but I know some of you did, so I have to apologize for the last episode publishing a few hours late. It was totally on me. Now, I usually batch and publish all the episodes before I go out of town, but I didn't get Mondays out before we left, so I was thinking, I'll do it while we're traveling. It's no problem. Well, we were super busy the whole time, and by the time I was ready to publish it, it was at the airport, and there was really no quiet place enough for me to record, so I had to record when we got home, which was 1:30 in the morning, but I did get it done. However, I published it to go out for the next day, like I always do, not thinking about it already being Monday, even though by then it was 3 a.m. on Monday. So I got a text early from a friend who is a loyal listener telling me I was in big trouble. That's all her text said is, "You're in big trouble." And I knew immediately that the episode hadn't published. And now you may ask yourself, like, how did you know immediately what that text meant? Well, I'll tell you. Because as I was going to sleep at 3 a.m. after recording and publishing, I was so ready to go to sleep, but my intuition, my gut, told me to get out of bed and go check the date once more, to which I totally ignored. I ignored that little voice and I just went right to sleep. I was like, no problem. You've done this a million times. It's all going to be fine. So when I got that text, when I woke up the next day, I knew immediately. And that is what I get for ignoring my intuition. The crazy thing is that I'm reading a book right now on intuition. It's all about how not to ignore that little voice in your head and how oftentimes our subconscious will try to get through to our conscious brain that something's off, but our conscious brain just waves it off. Like, no, I got this. Only to later find out, oh man, I knew that was going to happen. Or I should have listened to that little voice. Have you ever done that where you ignore the little voice in your head telling you to do or not do something and later realize you definitely should have listened? What I'm finding in this book that I'm reading is that our subconscious mind sees way more than our conscious mind. It takes in way more information than we're even aware of. So when I clicked the wrong date to publish, my subconscious mind saw it, but my conscious mind didn't. This is why it's really crucial. We always have to listen to our subconscious mind when it's telling us something, because it has more information than even we, like our conscious mind, knows or realizes. And I love knowing that. It really will make me pay much more attention knowing that it knows something I don't know just yet. It's a good thing for us all to keep in mind. So I told you I was traveling, and that's why all of this came about. But we were in California this last week for a graduation, which was really fun. I enjoyed California this time. The last time we went, it was kind of sad. There were homeless people everywhere, even in the nicest places. And it was just sad for me to see. But we didn't see them this time. So I'm kind of hoping it's because they got them help. But as we were leaving California, we had to take Interstate 101 to get to the LA airport. Well, that just happened to be right during the immigration protest that they were having last week, where they were actually rioting on 101. So Eric and I both knew we were going to be heading that direction, so we were keeping an eye on things. I was on X the last day or so to see if we needed to change our route or anything, and it turns out we made it to the airport before they blocked Interstate 101, thankfully. But I noticed that because I had sort of gotten myself on and paying a lot of attention to X more than I had been, once you start, it can be very addictive. So for that day and even the next few days, I could tell I was on X or thinking about being on it, definitely more than normal. And at the same time, I was having this underlying anxiety that I couldn't explain. Like, we've been off our normal schedule due to travel, but even still, I don't usually have anxiety like this. And there really isn't any reason for me to have anxiety. No one's sick, no pressing design jobs that are late. And so it's definitely something else that I couldn't put my finger on. Well, as I always do when we got home, I get back into my routine, which I love, and I get up in the morning and I did my morning meditation. And during that meditation, out of nowhere, there was a little voice that got through and said, X is the problem. That's where your anxiety is coming from. And then my mind went right back to meditating. But my conscious mind, when we were done, was horrified. Like, I realized I was causing my own underlying anxiety, and over what? Like, things I have no control over and things I have no reason to be focused on. So like the protests in LA, I don't have any control of that, and how they're going all over the country now. I don't control that. Or I'm not sure if you've paid attention to this at all, but the whole Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni issue that kind of has gotten on my feed. I guess I paid a little too much attention to it. But I really feel bad for Justin Baldoni, and I think she did him wrong. But why do I care about that? Like, it's all distraction. It's distraction that had my stomach tied up in knots and was keeping me want to be glued to my phone. But once I got back home and back into my routine with my meditation and exercise and being present where I am, I realized how easy it is to drive ourselves crazy with these anxiety-ridden distractions. It's a constant push and pull for me, but the happiest, most peaceful I feel is when I'm paying no attention to things I don't control, and when I'm being present for what is right in front of me. While we were traveling, we were so busy. We had lots of time with family, and we got to be in nature quite a bit, and I had no anxiety. So I realized that I was causing my own anxiety by having my attention on things designed to keep me anxious and also addicted. But it doesn't have to control me, because I control it. And my meditation seemed to wake me completely up from the fog that I had been in. And it's hard. I know it is. I even realized that my book that I was reading, that I was telling you about intuition, seemed kind of uninteresting when I was paying a lot of attention to X. So it was hard for me to focus on my book because it was not as interesting. Like, I wasn't getting as much dopamine, I guess, from that book, even though I really, really liked the book. And I kind of likened it for myself to having the choice of a big, healthy, fresh, organic salad, which I love, or a warm chocolate brownie with caramel ice cream. One of those is going to nourish you and keep you full and be really good for you. And the other is going to make it very difficult for you to go back to eating salad. See, if you're disciplined, you can eat the whole salad and maybe one bite of the brownie. But if you aren't disciplined, you have to do away with the brownie altogether. You see, that's how I feel about X. The difference between having X and also having my book is I have to put myself on a next detox, because I can feel the anxiety even just because I'm on it, because I know that it's not good for me. But when I'm off of it, I can feel my anxiety melting away. I can feel the presence of the moment with Sunny and Charlie, or noticing my ticking clock and the way the trees sway with the wind, noticing the subtle nudge of my own intuition. See, I don't see any of that when my head is in my phone. And I would venture to say that you're not much different. Only maybe your distraction is a little different from mine. Maybe it's Instagram or work, or maybe it's alcohol, whatever it is that has power over you that makes you not present. When you realize that you are allowing that power, you also realize you can take that power back. It's not that you failed if you're constantly having to work at it like I do. It's that we're human, and we're all a work in progress that will never end until we die. Our job is to be the best that we can be, and that's going to include having to overcome distraction again and again. And each time you overcome it, you get a little stronger. But in order to overcome it, you have to be aware of it, which usually involves your intuition, and you are not able to hear that when you're distracted. My point of this episode is this: we have an inner guidance system that is very powerful, and it knows what's best for us, but it's almost impossible to hear it if you're distracted. Share this with 3 people who deserve to live a fully present life. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.